Hey guys, so I'm here today to film a 3 looks 1 palette video on the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette with Morphe. Funny story. I wasn't gonna buy this palette. When I saw this palette was launching, I texted my best friend and was like, wow, another Jaclyn Hill palette, I'm over it. I don't wanna buy it, I don't need it, it's lame. And I truly thought that. I saw the pictures, I didn't love it. I'm just at a point where, like, with all of the shitty launches that Jaclyn has, my trust for her is basically gone. And on top of that, I trust Morphe even less than her, because when it comes to the Vault palette, I really kind of put the blame on Morphe. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did some shady shit with repressing the shadows, or like taking kind of the easy way out when it came to manufacturing them and fucking up the formulation and the quality. So when the Vault launch happened, I bought the Vault. I was so excited for it, and they were terrible. I just decluttered them, actually. And when that happened, although I do agree that Jaclyn is terrible at dealing with issues and being honest to her subscribers, part of me always wondered if she was lying or if Morphe was lying to her and she was just so naive because she's not really a businesswoman, and she believed it. Then we had Lipstick Gate, and then when this was launched, I was just like, man, Jaclyn really only does put out videos when she wants people to buy shit. I still watch her videos because I do love a lot of the same makeup she likes, but I just was not down to buy this palette. And then the reviews started rolling in. And Samantha Ravndal posted the first review that I watched. And Samantha Ravndal, Raw Beauty Christie, and Taylor Wynn are 3 beauty gurus that I wholeheartedly trust with my whole heart. I absolutely love them. I think they're all amazing YouTubers. And when Samantha Ravndal said it was great, I was like, well, shit, it sounds like it's great. And then Jamie Genevieve did a review, and I've just seen only good reviews about this palette. And I'm lucky enough to live near a Morphe store, so I went into the Morphe store and I swatched the palette, and I was like, fuck, I do love it. Now, this does retail for $50 Canadian, which is steep, but at the same time, you're getting 35 eyeshadows, and here's the thing. What's weird to me is the color that I loved the most was this color here, Positivity. This, like, corally peach color I'm probably gonna use today. I literally didn't plan any of these looks out. I'm just winging it. Like, look at that color. I love bright eyeshadow, but I never wear them. But I also did love the neutrals in here that not a lot of people are talking about. They're like neutral, but they're not too warm. They're like almost like have like a pinky peach undertone, which I personally love. The shimmer is obviously gorgeous, and I love deep berry colors. So, like, to me, I probably gravitate towards the shades that nobody else does, because like the pinks and the purples, like, I just like don't wear very often, but the rest of the shades, I liked it. Also, we have a matte off-white, which is my fave. So I did pick this up. I do love the original Jaclyn Hill palette that they have. So if this one is as good as that, I'll be super stoked. But yeah. So this is going to be a 3 looks 1 palette video for this look. This is clearly the first look. So if you want to see 3 looks with this palette and see some honest opinions of someone who isn't friends with Jaclyn, then keep watching. Also, subscribe to my channel. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, and you should stick around because we're fun around here. You're already here. Just hit the button. It's right there. You can see it, right? It's the little red one. Subscribe. It's right there. Okay, so I'm gonna insert a clip now of me doing this look. Okay, for this video, I'm actually gonna do, I did one eye off camera, I'm just gonna do one on camera. It just feels easier that way. So for the first look, we're gonna do a blown out red smoky eye. I used the shade Livin' My Best. Now you can see that it does have a lot of kickback in the pan, but it did blend out really well. And then I basically just did a halo eye with it. I just put Drama Queen on the like center of the lid. It's like I only used 3 eyeshadows, but I really love the way this looks, to be honest. And I know Jaclyn said this is supposed to be like a true red and not blend out pink. It does blend out kind of pink, but I think that like there's no way to get around that with red. So I'm just gonna take a Smith 230 brush and start by packing that on the outer corner. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the inner corner. And then I'm just going to blend them together. I don't like to leave the middle completely naked when I do a halo eye. I'd rather blend it and just leave the center kind of naked. Now, as you can see with this shade, I am getting fallout, which is why I did this shade first, because I'm going to do my base after this, and I don't really want makeup everywhere. Now, I went a little too far on the inner corner, so I'm just going to take a makeup wipe and wipe it off. And then I'll go back in and blend it out in a minute when there's nothing on my brush. But the first, I'm going to take the shade Perfectionist, which is just kind of like the lightest shade in the palette, and just kind of lightly feather out those edges. I find that on this eye, I always blow it out further, so I'm trying to not do that. But because she has a white in this shade, I think it'll be easy to kind of go around the edges at the end and fix it up. So I'm just going to wipe off that brush on my hand and just kind of take it back into the inner corner and fix that blend. Clean up the edges. Now this is probably going to stain my lids, if we're being honest. So now that that's mostly on, I'm going to take the shade Drama Queen, which is just this really pretty shimmery shade, but actually when you press it onto the lid, you'll see that it looks neutral, but it has this like pink glitter to it. And what I'm actually going to do is, instead of just doing it on the center, I'm going to pull it up a little bit above the crease, just so you can kind of see it because I have hooded eyes, just so you can like really see it. Now this look is super simple, but I'm kind of feeling it. So I'm gonna put on my base, clean up some of this fallout, and then we will kind of put the finishing touches on this look. Okay, we've got 2 eyeballs on, we've got a face on. Now, as you can see, my inner corner blending, it leaves some to be desired. So I'm gonna show you the best thing that there is about white shadows. So Jaclyn put a matte white shadow in this shade here called Certified. I am the queen of a matte white shadow as a brow bone highlight, so I'm going to take that on my brush and I'm going to highlight my brow bone, but it doesn't just highlight, it also erases any mistakes you had, and on top of that, it helps to blend your edges if they aren't perfect. And the same goes for your inner corner edges, just like that. Truly magical, and everybody needs to stop hating on matte inner corner highlights like yesterday. For my inner corner highlight though, I am going to take the shade I'm In It, which is like this really beautiful white, but it has this pink reflex to it, and I think it's stunning. And I'm going to again blend that kind of up into the inner corner just to take away from the harshness on the inner corner. Because I have hooded lids, I find that it gets like really into my inner part, especially if I'm using a bigger brush. So this helps to diffuse some of that and make it look stunning. Okay, like, can we talk about that inner corner? I don't know if it's showing up on camera as well as it should be, but it's beautiful. Beautiful. So I know everyone else on YouTube is like, let me blow out my lower lash line, but I am just not that bitch. I don't like shadows on my lower lash line, so I never put them there. Now, sometimes I will throw on a wing, but I just don't think I need it. This look is gorgeous. To keep this video simple, I think I'm gonna try to do the same lipstick with all the looks. So I'm gonna go with MAC's Love You Back. It's just this really pretty pinky peach kind of nude. Okay, so this is look number 1. Can we talk about this bun I have happening? It's a situation. My hair is so dirty. I love this. I do think this is probably one of the best reds that I own. Hold on. I want to check out... I'm going to swatch the Jaclyn red next to the red from the Morphe palette and see how I feel. The Morphe shadows are like a harder pressed red. This definitely has more of an orange base to it, whereas I do think Jaclyn's red is definitely more true. So Muerte's at the top. It's kind of more of like your, like I said, I have an orange base, and this is the red from the Jaclyn palette, and I do think that it is one of the prettiest reds I've ever seen. So I'm going to go take off my eyes and come back, and we're gonna do another look. Okay, look 2, we're just going for a blown out kind of neon orangey peach look. Now I did have a little bit of trouble blending this color on my lid, because of course I did, because it's the color I'm most excited about, because that's my life. So I'm using the color Positivity, so I'm just gonna kind of start applying that, and we'll see if I have the same issues on this lid. So first I'm just going to pack it on with a flat shader brush. It definitely, like, as you can see, it's not as pigmented as you would think. So I'm definitely gonna have to blend that up. Oh cool, got it all over the place. And I am getting fallout, which is great because I did my base already. This is why I do my eyes first, always. So I'm just going to take a fluffy brush with nothing on it and just kind of blend out those edges. Then I'm gonna take more of Positivity, kind of pack it onto the outer corner and try to blend it. So as you can see, what's happening is, I hope you can tell that it's like darker in the crease than it is on the lid, and it's kind of rubbing off of the lid. So I'm going to take the flat shader brush again and pack that on. I want to zoom you guys in to show you this problematic ass shade. So as you can see, it's kind of patchy right here on the lid, and then it's darker in the crease, but I haven't used a darker color. And like, look at this fallout. Pray for me. Yeah, it's just like, it's not cooperating. So what I did on the other lid, let me tilt you up so you can actually see. What are the other lids? I took the shade Heart on, which is kind of the like darker neon color in the palette, and I took that and I kind of patted it onto the outer corner and blended it in just so that it would, you know, look more realistic. But as you can see, as I'm blending, like the shadow on the lid is coming off. What the fuck? So again, I'm going to go back into Positivity. I'm actually going to use just my finger and try to pack that shade on. I mean, it's a pastel, so like I kind of expect it to be a little bit troublesome, but like it's just like not sticking to the center of my lid. And the exact same thing is happening on this eye. You can see at the bottom here. I do find if I use my fingers, it's a little bit better, but like it's still not sticking very well. So that's basically all I'm doing for this look. I'm just gonna go put on my mascara and probably eyeliner for this look, just because I still have some like pink at the lash line, and because it's not sitting properly on the lash line, I'm gonna put it there, put some eyeliner there so that it hopefully distracts from this poor blending. We'll be back. Okay, we've got eyeliner on, and like while I had difficulty with this shadow, like once it's on, I do think it looks like fire. It looks really neon on my camera. I hope you guys can see what it looks like. I'm gonna take that matte off-white shade Certified again and just kind of highlight the brow bone. For the inner corner, there really aren't any like shimmery light shades in this palette. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach into the original Jaclyn Hill palette and just grab the shade Beam, which is basically a dupe for Max Nylon, and use that. Do I like the way this look turned out after all? Yes. Love this like fiery orange shade, although it didn't really work the way I liked it to work. I did find the shade difficult to pack on, difficult to stick to the eyelid. Now I do powder my lids, but that's because if I don't powder my lids after a eyeshadow primer, my eyeshadow creases. It's just how I am. So maybe the shadow would work better with a sticky base, but I just physically can't do that because then my eyeshadow will crease. So do I like this look? Yes. Am I a little skeptical about this shade working well? Yes, but at the same time making a like neon peachy orange is not easy, so I can kind of see both sides of it. Okay, we took the face off and we're starting over again. We're doing neutral today because like I haven't really seen anybody doing any neutral looks with this palette, and let's be real, if you buy this palette, 90% of the time you're gonna go neutral, like day to day. And I kind of like this, like the neutrals in here that are like, they're not really warm, they're like an interesting color. So I'm gonna take Love Handles and Perfectionist and just kind of mix them together and blend them on my lid. Here's the thing, I'm having trouble with the neutrals, and now I'm wondering if I'm regretting this purchase, if we're being honest. And I'm not trying to say that anybody's review was wrong, it's just that it really depends what shades you pick up. That's kind of the thing with a 35 pan palette, is you're wondering, you know, like I said, it depends which shades you pick up. Like that, these two shades should be more pigmented on my pasty ass skin, but like when I swatch them, there's not a whole lot going on there. So I'm gonna take Comfort Zone, which is the darker shade in the middle of those two shades, and kind of use that to deepen the crease. I mean, if those two shades don't show up for me, they're not going to show up for anybody because I am as white as they come. With a smaller brush, I'm going to take a mixture of Comfort Zone and Thick Skin and pack it on and then kind of blend it into the crease. Those two lighter tone shades are the only shades that I used on this eye of the mattes that gave me trouble, so just heads up. Then I'm going to take a little bit of G Money, which is just kind of more of a neutral toned brown. And again, I'm going to use that to deepen the crease and just make it a little more neutral. And to just kind of blend out this inner part, because I find that I have hooded lids, so sometimes my eyeshadow will skip on the inner part. So then I'm going to take the shade Bougie, which is just this kind of shimmery mid-toned shade, and I'm going to plop this on the center of the lid just to blend this together with the lighter shade I'm going to use. To be honest, this shimmer, you can see it, it's just kind of okay. So then I'm going to take the shade Ride or Diamonds, which is one of the glitter shades in here, and I'm not going to lie, it doesn't, like, when I put it on, you can see it's pretty, but like, it's basically mostly glitter with not a lot of base in it. I definitely preferred the Drama Queen pressed glitter to this, and with this shade, I tried to apply it with a brush, but it just didn't work. I'm trying to find my brush so I can show you. So if I really dig into the pan, like, ooh, we dropped her. If I go in here and I like am digging into the pan, look at this brush. There is nothing on it. It didn't pick any color up. So like, it's like you have to use your finger for those shades, but your finger doesn't apply them very well either. Like, yeah, it's, once you've kind of like packed it on, it's pretty, but, and it's glittery, but it's not as glittery as, you know, some other pressed glitters I've used. And again, it doesn't have a lot of base to it, so it's almost like clear. I don't know, that shade, it didn't do anything for me. So that's basically the look. I went very simple with it just because, again, this is, I feel like how most people would wear the palette every day. So I'm just gonna do my face, put on some mascara and a wing liner because I wing liner every single day, and we'll be back. Okay, mascara on, liner on. For lips, I switched it up and did Maybelline Truffle Tease. Also a nude, just a little bit more like warm toned brown. I will say I like the way this turned out, which is kind of what I said for the last two looks. She's cute, she's a basic neutral look. I do think a lot of the neutral tones in this palette kind of look very similar. They're very peachy, which is fine, but I do think there's a lot of repetition in the shades. Like, let's get up here. Okay, so Love Handles and Perfectionist, very similar. Comfort Zone and Thick Skin, very similar. What is this? Grateful is also very similar to Comfort Zone. Like, I just wish there was more variation. I also wish there was more like shimmers in this palette. There's only 10 shimmers in this palette and only 4 of them are neutral. I don't count the gold as being neutral because I hate gold. Here I am. This is my channel. I do what I want. But I do think this is a pretty look. I just don't think if you're gonna do like a basic neutral look, you're not gonna get a whole lot of variation in here. Maybe if you just use G Money, you could do a little bit more of a neutral toned brown, but other than that, all of the browns are very similar, so you're gonna end up with this look. So overall, my thoughts are, I'm undecided about this palette, to be honest. I don't want to say that anybody else's reviews were wrong. I just think this is the kind of issue you can have with a 35 pan palette, is that there's so many different shades in here that some of them can work beautifully and some of them can't. The red shade was absolutely beautiful. The neutral shades blended really well, but like I said, the formula or the colors are very similar. I had a lot of trouble with the peach shade, but again, that's it's a hard shade to make. And I had a lot of trouble with Ride or Diamonds. Maybe it's just supposed to be just kind of a glittery base, but you can only use your finger with it. And while I understand that using your finger with shimmers makes them glitterier, I do think that you should have the option of being able to use them with a brush and it's still picking up. But this one was so hard pressed that you really can't pick up anything with a brush. And honestly, outside of the 2 pressed glitters, maybe 3, the shade Empowered looks really beautiful, but the other shades are just kind of basic shimmers and they don't wow me. Like, I think we've come a long way when it comes to shimmers, and like when I want a shimmer, I kind of want a more glittery shimmer, something like the Anastasia shimmers that are really sparkly and glittery and foiled, and they're so soft that they're easy to work with. I will say the mattes in here are very soft, a little powdery, but I don't mind that because it's kind of like how the Anastasia mattes are, where they're soft and powdery, but they're really easy to blend, which I like. And that's how I found the mattes in here. Like, I didn't have any trouble with them blending. I just had some patchiness issues with Positivity. But other than that, they all blended fine. My main issue is with the shimmers in this palette. They're a little bit more hard pressed than the mattes, and I find them a little bit more difficult to work with, or a little lackluster. Like the shade Bougie, girl, this ain't bougie at all. Like, it's just like, this is a shade Bougie here. Like, it's just like an okay shimmer color, and even still, like on the center of my lid, like I had to really pack that on, and like it just, I don't know. I like the mattes in here. I like the color story in here. I'm going to continue to play around with this palette. I literally just did 3 looks, 1 palette in 1 sitting. So I've been sitting here for like 2 hours. But yeah, I'm a little bit undecided, which I think is okay at the end of a tutorial. Sometimes you get a product and you're not sure how you feel about it. For now, I'll be keeping it. Maybe I'll return it. I don't know. Like, I'm not at a stage where I think I'm going to return it, but it's definitely like I need to play around with it more to see how I feel about it. It might be one of those palettes that I kind of have to pull in like the original Jaclyn palette with, just for, like, especially for the light shimmer shades, because really the only light shimmer shade in here is I'm In It, and it's basically like a purple duochrome. So I might try to see how these palettes work together. I guess while I'm here, I should show you them side by side so you can kind of see the color stories. I mean, they do work together well, but I don't know. I'm undecided about how I feel about this palette. It's decent right now is how I feel about it. I think the mattes are nice. Shimmers are a little lackluster. Like, I like some of the other shimmers in the original Jaclyn Hill palette better than their like new pressed glitter formula, at least especially for that one shade. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of how it performed down below. Let me know what you think about the looks, or if you have the palette, what you think about the palette in general. Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!